All right. So before this episode starts, there's a lot of positive things to get into, obviously, but I think we need to address the elephant in the room. For the first time, uh, since probably like episode 5 or something, I'm not gonna have an intro. I would like to have a moment of silence for Frank Wycheck, who was the man who threw the pass on the Music City Miracle. He's a great man and died way too young. So let's just give like a 10-second moment of silence to that man. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and what just happened? Dude, I don't know. Honest, I don't know. Like I was finally in the position where I was just like, okay, this team sucks, all right? And um, we're bad, and I can finally accept that and just be ready for the draft. And we're still bad, don't get me wrong, I'll get into that later, but like we just beat the Dolphins. Like I know they're usually the devourer of dumpster teams. So like the fact that we fought back and won is something to be very proud of. Now, am I happy that we got to expose their fraudulence? 100%. But you know, it's this is not a Dolphins podcast. This is a Titans podcast. Ironically, I'm about to go into the section where, I don't say anything about the Titans. I just talk about either what's going on around the NFL or, college football. I can't really do that right now. Well, I guess I could talk about a couple of things. And also, what's going on in my personal life. So let's start that segment. And if you want to skip the next like 3 to 4 minutes because it's not about the Titans. But anyway, so I have my midterms this week. Like that just feels that is worrying, obviously, but I think I'm gonna be fine on most of them. I just did my first two today. I don't know how I did, but we're just gonna have to see how it goes. But yeah, that's something out of my personal life. Uh, I'm gonna try and hit all three here. Around the NFL, what is going on around the NFL right now? Um. Oh yeah. Zach Wilson had the best game of his entire career yesterday against the Texans. That makes no sense whatsoever. Like, dude, he should. Like, how did he? I don't even want to ask. He outperformed C.J. Stroud. Now I know Jets defense is deadly, so if you're a Jets quarterback, it's easy to outperform the team that you're playing against. But like, that's still wild. But anyway, so like that's one thing. Another thing is um in the NFC South, one of those coaches is going to make the playoffs, and that makes me kind of upset. Like the NFC South has the four worst coaches in the NFL right now. All right. Now if you want to put, Vegas as interim in there, then sure. But like you have Dennis Allen, interim head coach for the Panthers. I'm not too sure who he is, but he doesn't. But from what I've heard, he's not qualified. Um, who's someone else? Oh yeah, Arthur Smith and Dennis. And did I already say Dennis Allen? If I didn't, it's Arthur Smith as the fourth one. But like, yeah, how on earth one of those guys is going to keep their job and is going to make the playoffs? That is the saddest thought that I have had about the NFL ever since before Frank Wycheck's passing. But you know, it's just like, dude, Arthur Smith is not a good head coach. Okay, you may want me to be biased and be like, oh yeah, Arthur Smith's a good head coach. He just doesn't have the pieces. He's had three amazingly talented first round picks like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, but Bijan, all three of those guys are really good, as you can tell. But like, if he's not going to use those weapons, then what's the point? Might as well draft, I don't know, some random D2 running back in the first round, because that's what apparently that's what Arthur Smith wants to do. He wants to use some random running back that you've never heard of before in his offense instead of Bijan Robinson. And yes, I know Tyler Algier is not a nobody. He was good last year, but still, like, that's ridiculous. You know, like, gotta get the ball to Zacchaeus. Don't throw Kyle Pitts' way or even Drake London's way unless he is in London. But anyway, so yeah, I find that ridiculous. Just had to get that out of the way. There's not that much going on in college. There's not that much going on in college football right now. I guess Drake May declared for the draft, which is very good for him because Caleb Williams may not end up declaring. Neither could Marvin Harrison. Like, Marvin Harrison's getting like $20 million from NIL to stay, is the rumor, at least. I'm not completely 100% sure on that, but like, that's ridiculous. But anyway, so let me see. How much time have I spent? Okay, so 6 minutes, and yeah, okay. I think that we've been at 3 minutes. So, yep, that's my section of random unnecessary things that don't have anything to do with the Titans. So if you listened, thank you. If you didn't listen, well, thank you for at least not clicking off immediately whenever I said that I'm not talking about the Titans. But anyway, so the Dolphins, what happened? Like, you got beat by us. We're bad. We didn't even have our best defensive lineman. Like, and we didn't even have our punter either. Like, how on earth did you lose to this team? Like, how on earth did you lose to these guys? How? This guy didn't even have the best game. Like, he didn't even have, like, as good of a game as he has been having over the past, like, 2 or 3 weeks. Like, how on earth did this happen? Well, my friend, let me take you back a little bit. Okay, so, game starts out really hot, we get the ball, it was a 3 and out. Then Dolphins get the ball, and let me try and think. I think they scored no, they didn't score a touchdown on their first possession. Actually, I think it was like a 3 and out, maybe. Uh, you know, Obviously I'm not completely sure. They punt it. Then Will Levis throws a pick six in the end zone, which is never a good. Throws a pick six to a defensive lineman in the end zone. All right, rookie mistake, whatever. So let me try and think. Okay, so Tyreek Hill got injured. We basically injured everybody on that team at one point or another, which was very weird, but it's fine. So after Tyreek Hill went out, Titans are starting to get a little bit of a groove on. You know what I'm saying? Will Levis leads the team down the field. Derrick Henry runs in for a touchdown. Then the Dolphins kick a field goal. D-Hop makes one of the best catches I've ever seen a Titans receiver make after A.J. Brown left, and then we get to kick a field goal. It's tied at 10-10 at the end of the first half. All right, then second half comes along, and it's very boring through the first little bit. Titans got a field goal. We're up 13-10 going into the fourth. Again, there's really not that much else to say apart from Tyreek came back in the game. Then fourth quarter, it's tied up. We get a big sack on third down, and the punt returner, Eric Garrer, the ball bounces, and he goes for it with a Dolphins player right in front of him. And he fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Miami, and they score a touchdown. Again, some people may think that I'm ridiculous for sending out what I sent out on my shorts page, where it was like what Eric Garrer going to the training facility on Tuesday, but like that is unacceptable, honestly. Like, and we don't really use them for that much else except for kick returns. So, like, but anyway, I digress. So, Dolphins score a touchdown running in with Raheem Mostert. Then we get the ball back and we fumble it again. Bad pitch by Will Levis. Okay, I said at first that it was Derrick Henry's fault, but no, that was on Will Levis. So then Dolphins recover it, and then they score a touchdown. And I'm thinking, this game's over. I'm going to go to bed. But then something in the back of my mind told me, Micah, you got to watch the rest of this game. You got to see what happens, because you never know. Something big could happen and we could win this game. So I do in my bedroom, and where I am right now, actually. And I watch Will Levis run 2 perfect 2-minute drills. The first 2-minute drill, he threw a touchdown, beautiful strike to D-Hop, and he gets the 2-point conversion, and we're right back in it. So then we kick the ball off, and I'm thinking, okay, Tyreek's going to make a big play, and we're just, not going to, and we're just going to, lay down and die, and we're going to lose this game. That's what I was thinking going into it. Oh, wait, before I get to that, I forgot to mention, first half we had a blocked field goal. Why am I telling you this now? Trust me, that's going to come big. That's going to come in big later. So, then, we actually get a stop, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe we actually have a chance. We got to see what Will Levis does. We make a big run with Tajay, and then Will Levis throws an absolute dart to DeAndre Hopkins, who advances it to the 40. Then we, let me try and remember how the rest of this drive went. Okay, so we ran it, and then we ran like a slant to D-Hop. He almost got in, I think. And then Will Levis hands it off to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry touchdown. We're in the lead. Or we're tied up. And then Folk makes the extra point, and we are in the lead. Will Levis comes off with his head on fire and is absolutely going crazy. The whole sideline's losing it. And then what happens is so then Dolphins come back on the field, and you're thinking, okay, they're going to at least get into field goal range, and this is going to be the end of it. They kick the field goal, and Dolphins walk out celebrating because they clinched the 1 seed or something like that. Isn't that what was on the line tonight? They were at least trying to clinch a playoff spot and the AFC South. But anyway, so then oh, sorry, I blanked. So then what happens though is first down. It was a gain of nothing. It was a gain of like 4. Then second down, gain of 2. Third down, he catches it behind the line of scrimmage. He shakes off a tackler, but we tackle him short, and the clock keeps on running because the dude didn't get out of bounds. Then fourth down, Tua goes back to pass, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, he's going to find Tyreek Hill deep down the field. This is going to be a disaster, and I'm going to lose my mind. But then my man, can't remember who it was, but whoever that was, my dude, came in and unleashed a big old hit on Tua, and he went down, and the Titans won the football game. This was the wildest Titans experience I have had as a fan, honestly. Such a whirlwind of emotions. We go back-to-back weeks with the weirdest game I've ever seen, most exciting game that I've ever seen, but also was one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I liked this type of crazy. If we get that type of crazy next week, I'd be fine with that. Maybe not a win, because we still got to keep our draft position intact. You know what I'm saying? But wow, just wow. Honestly, maybe I should start doing that more often. That seems really entertaining whenever I recap the game, doesn't it? Anyway, so yeah, Will Levis is him. He is that dude, and he is our guy of the future. I don't want anyone in the Malik cult commenting in the comments section that Malik is still our future. We just haven't seen enough of him. That's ridiculous, and Will Levis is the guy. Just wanted to get that out of the way because, like, I remember thinking this whole game, even after he led that game-winning drive, I'm thinking some Malik fan is gonna be like, Malik would have done the same thing, but like, you know, it's like it's honest. It was honestly just an amazing game, and Will Levis is the guy. Tajay made some big runs and caught some big passes. I forgot to mention that pass, that absolute dime from Will Levis straight into his arms. He took 2 steps, fumbled it, but it fumbled out of bounds, so it was okay. Like, we have a nice young nucleus. We just need a wide receiver and a left tackle for the offense at least, and maybe get like a new right, maybe like wait a year or two to get a new right guard because Brunskill's good. He's a very stable starter, but he's not like elite. All right, he's the second best offensive lineman on this O line. Skronsky is the best. I don't think it's close, honestly. Right tackle needs to change though. Like, and we also need to get a center. I don't even care. We just need a veteran center that can elevate the inside of the O line. Because honestly, Skronsky's good, but he's not going to do everything all at once. So anyway, let's take a look at the time that we got left. Okay, so I'm going to spend like 2 minutes of this talking about the draft because that's a new thing that we need to start thinking about now because we're not good. Let me elaborate on why we're not good. We gotta at least recognize the fact that we almost gifted this game to the Dolphins, but the Dolphins just had bad clock management. That's what happened. But anyway, so draft. Um, so I still think that we need to draft a left tackle. I know that some people are really high on Jalen Duncan, but if he's gonna end up starting for us, if he ever did end up starting for us, even if we drafted a left tackle in the first round, we still got to wait a few years if he's going to end up starting to develop him and whatnot. But anywho, so second round pick, I've changed my mind on this. Let's not go after a right tackle. Let's go get a right tackle and a center in free agency. And yeah, so get a center and a right tackle in free agency and go for a receiver in the second round, like a Xavier Worthy, Lad McConkey. No, he's a third round. I think that he's a third round grade. But anyway, yeah, some solid second round receiver to complement D Hop and another free agent receiver, which I think should be T Higgins. Because we need that big body that can you can loft it up to him in the end zone and he can, slightly push off enough to where it's not OPI and be able to catch the ball. We need someone like that. Will Levis can throw touch passes to him. But anyway, third round pick, I think that we should go with. I think this one may be a little controversial because I think that we need to sign an inside linebacker in free agency. But I think we need to go with an edge rusher. Now, hear me out, okay? We need to get an edge rusher not to start this year, but to start within the next year or two because Danico Autry is getting old. Like, we need to start accepting that. So we need to sign. So we need to get a left end of some sorts that can be a pass rushing menace. You know what I'm saying? And we need to so that way we don't just rely on our run block on our our run stopping abilities. We just need that consistent guy. But anyway, rest of the rounds are kind of irrelevant because Cooper Mays is staying for another year, and I had originally had him going somewhere in there. I mean, if Nick Folk retires, maybe go after a kicker of some sorts like Will Reichard or something. But anyway, so that's the draft. So okay, I got 2 minutes left, and I'm going to spend those last 2 minutes talking about free agency, and I'm going to spend the last minute talking about social media, my social media handles. But anyway, so Titans play the Texans next week. I'm going to be at that game. I'm going to be at that game with our state championship winning football team, so that'll be fun. But yeah, like, but Texans, I have no clue what to expect. if CJ Stroud's out, we could very easily end up winning this game. But if we do, but if we are loud enough, we can make a difference and win the game as fans. But I digress. So, but seriously though, if CJ Stroud's back, we're probably gonna get our butts whooped. But because like we're still off of the high and we don't want to do anything. Oh yeah, funny tidbit before I wrap this thing up. Um, so I was watching Mike Vrabel's post game speech. You know, talking about how exciting this win was and whatnot. And he said, "Oh yeah, we got the baby blues next week. Players get excited and whatnot because they're clean jerseys. Like we know this, but like he says, I may need to wear a dang cowboy hat or something. He didn't say dang, but got to keep it PG here because I tried to make sure that other people can watch it that don't like language, but I don't use language in real life. It just needed to get that out of the way. But yeah, I want to see Vrabel in a cowboy hat next week, and if he's not, I'm gonna be upset. But anyway, I have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and for the people listening on my podcast, I have YouTube. All of them are under the Titans Rundown. So if you want to take a look at those, then you can go ahead and do that. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your bad Tennessee Titans, but at least we have a good win to show for it. And it's our first win, and it's our first road win since we played the Packers in 2022 on Thursday night. I love y'all, and tighten up.